Hi, everybody.
Greetings, all.
We're back for another episode of As We Fall Asleep.
And this time it's going to be a little bit different because I am going to kick it off with a question.
Yay!
Yeah, and I'm going to direct it to Chris because she's the one that's right here doing the podcast with me. But just a little something for everybody to think about. And the question is, Miss Chris, can you identify for us what kind of kicked off or inspired you most recently to do your seeking and your evolution practices? I know you've always been somebody ever since I've known you that has had great interest and curiosity about things and about yourself and that kind of thing, but it seems like it's been in the past year or so that you've been outwardly sharing these things with me. We've been having great discussions and that kind of thing. So can you identify what prompted that, or what time or what incident, or if there was anything specific that kind of, got you going on that in the past year and really making changes for yourself, positive changes for yourself?
I looked up and said, it's time to get going. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but maybe that is kind of it. Like it's time for a change.
Well, I think considering everything that has gone on in the last year, it's really been troubling to me, and not personally, obviously, because personally, that's all been good, but I really felt like it was needed to have some sort of positive things being put out, as opposed to all of the negative drama that seems to be filling every crevice of what's going on socially. At least that's how I saw it. So I really kind of saw it as an opportunity to present or to open up questions about what we can do instead of complaining about what's going on. So thinking about how I, as a person, can be helpful instead of adding to the already kind of abyss of problematic things that are happening. I think that's what I started to think about, because it's just everything that I've always, I think, known to be true and thought about, the laws of attraction, garbage in, garbage out, sort of all of that stuff just really seemed to be like, okay, it's time to really practice those laws of attraction and what do I want for myself and for society, and it's positive stuff and it's good stuff. So let's focus on what we can do individually and then collectively to make things better. That's not necessarily, it's not against anybody. And that's the most beautiful thing about all of it. It is for me and for the greater good, which I think is but it resonates better with me than being like, I'm going to get this person. I mean, that's not in me. I don't really care for that kind of thought process. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if I could recap, it sounds like you were thinking because of when you say about what's going on, you mean politically, and in society and culturally that way. In the past year? I
mean, politically, like socially, yes. I mean, like everything. It's not just the political piece. But I think politically, when who got elected, I mean, I think a lot of things were able to surface that had been repressed, that existed, and we were able to just ignore that. And you just can't ignore it. It's just in your face right now. So you have to do something about it.
Right.
You know, you just can't be blissfully ignorant or think that things are all good now, because you see it. It's every day and it's in your face.
Right. It's definitely bubbled up to the forefront. And it makes sense to me now as you're saying that would be a very specific catalyst for active intervention or provention or whatever, you know, in a positive way. Intervention can be positive, certainly, in your own life, in your own growth. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, because I really have appreciated that, because your actions and catalyst has been also a catalyst for me, and sort of a and I get the immediate positive byproduct because I live right with you. So that's pretty awesome, and that has spurred me and inspired me to take an active look at those questions and think about how I can actively choose what is helpful to me, how I can actively pick what I want to listen to when I want to listen to it, that kind of thing. My nature often is sort of passive in its way, and yours is not, and I appreciate that now more than ever.
So what, for you, do you feel has changed in your life?
Well, I think you said it well, but you have been the person that has been immediately bringing me things. And when I say that, I say, like, you know, often 2 or 3 times a week, you send me or text me these great podcasts, like, oh, I think you would really like this one, or like the Matt Belair show, or, you know, things like that are very, and even if we're not listening to them together, and often we're not, because I listen to them at home in the morning, or you're listening to them on the BART, but we talk about that, and that's something, although we've often shared and talked throughout our relationship about all kinds of things, it's not like we just suddenly are starting to talk to each other, but it's one of the things that I have noticed and appreciated, that we often talk now with, you know, just to each other without distraction, turning the television off and having a conversation, doing our podcasts, which is something that it would never have occurred to me to do. And I appreciate that. I like that, because that brings something to me and spurs me to action and thought. And then I take that out to the people that I am in touch with, that I am working with day to day. And I like that. And that's what it's all about, is that sharing, I think. And some people are more active and outward in their sharing, and then that inspires others in a different way. So that's all. I mean, I would like to prompt any of our listeners to question that for themselves or their loved ones. You know, it's not a challenge. It's just a fun sort of inquiry to see, how is that? How did that change? When did that change for you? Or
it could be a challenge.
Or it could be a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we need more people being thoughtful about actions, just, you know, their actions and impact, and you know, really, you know, this thing that I'm kind of listening to and contemplating right now is talking about raising vibration. So I'm going to have to delve into that a little bit more. But it's an interesting concept about vibration and frequency, and being on a higher frequency as opposed to a lower frequency. You always just automatically think higher is a little bit better than lower. So you're able, I think, to maybe take in a little bit more on a higher frequency than you are at a base or lower frequency. So once I explore exactly
do your
what
studies.
that is, and I don't mean the music, because obviously I think I could, kind of correlate some things to that. That's a whole other topic. I was listening to a podcast about that I found interesting. But I would say, the whole frequency thing, or or maybe I equate it even to, when we talk about being your higher self, maybe is maybe how I would relate that frequency situation to. Just doing things that are on the higher frequency, tuning into that level, being able to receive those vibrations that are of love, joy, happiness, and those kind of things. Maybe those lower frequency things are those things that we get tied up with, or anger sometimes, or frustration.
Fear-based.
Fear-based. Exactly. That's it. Exactly. And so when we are driven by fear or motivated by fear, I'm not convinced that we make our best choices. And so I think that's a lot of time why we try to take care of those things that make us feel secure. But I think we need to understand that I'm going to sound really out there right now, but security is an illusion, I think, in some ways, because what we think we know about all of that stuff to be true just might not be true. But I think I'll have to add more to that later, because
that's a subject for another podcast, and after your further studies.
Yeah, because I don't want to lose anybody here, but I do just want to go back to say that, that operating out of fear is, I think, maybe not the best place to operate from, because sometimes the choices might spur things that maybe you don't want to set into action. But anyway,
well, Chris will continue her studies in frequency and vibration.
Yes,
and get back to us all, I'm sure.
Yes.
Well,
okay.
Thank you for that. I had a good time with this podcast, and thank you, listeners.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
And we are doing this a little bit more frequently, so that makes me happy. And so we'll check in with you soon.
Take care, everybody.
Night.
Bye.